been a long couple of weeks, but we're here, ready to do another card in our 25 Days of Christmas. Hi, this is Kelly with Kelly's Creative Dream Studios, and today is day 12 of our 25 Days of Christmas. This will be the last card for this week. Tomorrow and Tuesday, we will dive back into the pink Christmas journal. Okay, so today's card, I do not have a sample done up. I have everything cut, everything ready to go. So I'm going to walk you through the components. I've got my memento ink and my sentiment on my stamp block. I took Season's Greetings from off of the Holly Jolly set from Card Making and Paper Crafting, issue 202 from Christmas 2019 catalog. I used my banner triple punch from Stampin' Up. And I used the Snowflake Swirl, and this is a Doris pattern, right there. And we are using Sketch Split Coast 103 from my sketch catalog. Now, these measurements do not match this because I've kind of changed things up a little bit. So I'm going to show you what we're starting with. We're going to start with Pool Party. Oh, wait a minute. Let's start here. I am using the papers from Home for Christmas. It was a Stampin' Up! Holiday from September 2015 to January 2016. And I'm using this paper, and this paper, and this paper. And because they give us coordinating inks, I used the Pool Party cardstock. Now, I wanted to use the Pool Party ink and do some shadowing. And I have a dauber for it. But I can't find my ink pad. My spot is not in the box, so time to do some serious house cleaning. So we started with a Pool Party card base, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm going to use, I stamped everything in very vanilla because of, this wasn't really a white, it was more of a toned down, so that's what I went with. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to glue our embossed base down, and this is 4 by 5 1/4. Run through the Swirling Snow embossing folder from Doris. And let's see, if I got a baby wipe handy, I do. So we take that, and I'm going to put this right here. Now, as I said, I changed this up a little bit, and I'll show you how in just a minute. But because that's embossed, I'm going to flip that over, and I'm going to run my embosser from behind to really embed that glue into the embossed, into the debossed areas. And we have that. The next thing we're going to need is a piece of the Pool Party cardstock, 3 inches by 4 inches. Lost my glue. There we go. I had a great time at the Writers' Conference this week. It was great to not have to leave my house. Bob was very supportive, and if I said I needed something, if I was hungry, if I needed a drink refill, whatever, he was right there. Now, we are centering this one. If you'll notice, this one is set off to the side a little bit. But as Bob and I played with this, we decided we liked it more centered. So I'm going to center that one right there. And again, because that has that embossing there, I'm going to make sure that it goes into that embossing really good. I got to have Bob pinch this together today because that's going to drive me crazy. Of course, I get a little crazy pushing that down. That doesn't help. Okay, then we have a piece of the Village paper, and it is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And this was why I went searching for my Pool Party, because I wanted to dust the edge with this so it would create a little bit of a shadow against that Pool Party mat, and that didn't work. So I couldn't find my re-inker bottle was not in the can where it belonged. And I know that I had it because for the colors that I'm missing re-inkers for, I have little pieces of paper telling me which ones I needed. And it wasn't in there either. So then we centered this right there. And again, I'm going to come in with my dry baby wipe. And if you've got a baby wipe out and it's wet and it dries out, set it aside because you can use them. You don't have to let a whole package go. Okay, then we have the snowy paper. And this one is 2 by 3.5. I almost went with this. Do you see this lighted tree in the back? I almost used that. But I was not into fussy cutting that tree. I did fussy cut the image that I did put in the middle, but it wasn't going to be that Christmas tree. Okay, so then, now we looked at, if you'll notice, let me get the paper thingies out of the way. If you'll notice, these mats are set off center a little bit. But the more we played with it, the more we decided we really liked this whole thing centered. And so that's what we went with. Bob is really good with helping me with cards. And then, again, if I was not mailing this or wanted to pay extra postage, I'd bring this little deer up on dimensionals, but, you know, the cost of postage, you can't afford to add any more bumps than necessary. Now, I am going to add a bump or two on here, but they're very shallow bumps. They don't create a lot of lift. But we're going to put our reindeer right in the center. And I'm going to scooch him up just a little bit. And then I have a mat that I'm going to punch using the triple punch. And here's a trick. When you're using a big punch like this, but you're punching a small item, pay attention to your corners and just bring your corners up to where they meet right there. Okay. I don't have that quite centered, but there we go. And then I'm going to come back and I'm centering this other corner. Now this one's just a tad narrow, or a tad wider than it should be. But I'm going to bring that back down to where just my corners are there. Wow, did I mess that one up? So let's see if we can fix that. I must have slid at some point. I'm going to have to cut a whole new strip at this point. Now see, I didn't have it in there square, and that's what happens. That's better. That's better. And then this one's going to go right over here. And then I have this strip. This is 1 by 4 inches. And then this strip is 3/4 by 3 3/4. So you're just dropping everything down 1/4 inch. And I'm going to go ahead and see if I can square this one up better. A little better. See, I'm trying to keep it straight, and I'm just coming into the points. Just like that. Okay. Then, as I said, I used Season's Greetings from that stamp set, and I have it on the block and ready to go. Now, after I take a breather and spend some time with Bob today, I'm going to sew my signatures in for the pink journal and get it ready to go. Because tomorrow we're going to start with belly bands in the pink journal. And we're going to be doing 3 of them. Maybe not together, but there will be 3 of them. Okay, and then I'm going straight down and straight up. A little light, but I'm okay with that. Okay. And then this, let's do a dry fit first. See, this is a little long. So I need to snip this one off just a hair. So as I figure out where my scissors are. I was looking for scissors I was using on the dining room table. But I'm going to snip that down just a little bit. And we're going to come back in and we're going to re-snip this. Now I had to do this with a couple of them. So I'm okay with doing this. And we're going to redo this. And that fits much better. That fits much better. Now if I want to take and clean this up, I can come in here and I can snip that off. Keep that little bobble off of there. Get rid of that. Okay, then I'm going to come back in with my glue. And I'm going to go down either side. I really am not liking that. It's just, there we go. And then I'm going to center that right on there. Okay, let's move that off the side. And then again, this one I could probably pop up on dimensionals if I wanted to, but the cost of postage. I remember when it was nothing to just add an extra stamp. Didn't break your bank, didn't drain your wallet. Now I'm not setting it up high, I'm going to try and come just below that bottom mat and go right there. Okay, now let's get rid of that. Okay, and now, I have one more thing, if I can get to them over here. I have to move my fan out of the way. I'm going to have Bob build me a box that I can slide things in and out of. But I need to go to my red. Now these sit kind of high, and I don't want red on there. No, 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 that's nasty. Now, if I wanted to put a red nose on that one for Rudolph, because some of them are Rudolph and have red noses, I could do that. And I have plenty of these, so let's do that. Let's start by clipping edges off so that will go in and out of there easier. And then I'm going to come in here with a, I'm going to use my blade here. And we're going to put a red nose right there on Rudolph. And this is where my fingers and I don't always talk together. Okay. So now we have a Rudolph. And let's see if we have something white or clear that would work as a snowflake. The whites are too big. I'd really like to find something with blue. Oh, maybe these. Oh, these would work. These would work. And I think I want to use these right here. Whoops. And let's add a little bit of glue where we're going to put these. I would do better if I was sitting down doing this. Okay, now let's add just a little bit of bling to break that white up. That's a different color. We want this one to break those up. And to stick to the cardstock, not my finger. And there is our day number 12 cardstock, or Christmas card for the 25 days of Christmas. I will be back here tomorrow when we are going to be talking belly bands in the 25 days of Christmas in the Pink Journal. Thanks for joining me in the studio today, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and creative Christmas blessings.